Hey all, here at osmvdxreviews.com. You're watching our video review of the Disappearing Ink pen. This is something you can purchase on eBay for around $3, and actually there are a few things I want to clear up with this pen. Although it seems like a very good deal and it's very inexpensive, and a lot of the listings they say that you get the pen plus a case, which looks pretty professional and looks like a cool gift idea. But actually if you purchase this pen, you don't get the case. You only get this kind of crappy packaging, which is not clearly labeled in the descriptions, so be sure you know what you're getting when you're purchasing this device. You don't get the case, which it says that you get. You only just get the pen and a plastic paper packaging. So as far as the pen goes, it actually works pretty well. You write on it, and after a few minutes or even a few hours, the ink on the paper will completely disappear. I think that this has something to do with the fact that the ink maybe has a little bit of lemon juice in it, so it's going to disappear over time, but it has a very small concentration, so instead of disappearing all at once, it takes a little while for the ink to completely disappear. The ink of the pen is also blue, so for right now I'm going to show you at the beginning of the video. I wrote this just now. You can see how it looks like. It looks pretty much like a regular pen. It says test of this ink. A test of the ink on this pen, OS Reviews, and a happy face, and it looks pretty professional. Has a nice tendency to flow pretty well. It's a nice gel-like pen. And again, it's pretty ordinary, but then after a while, it's going to completely disappear. So why would you want to purchase something like this? There are a few different aspects. One of them is because it's a good prank, I guess. So if you write something to someone and they're going to read it, and then after a while it's going to completely disappear on them, so they're going to get kind of confused and get kind of worried. So it's going to be a cool prank idea. A second one is just to reuse paper. I wanted to kind of see if I could just use this to write on one piece of paper over and over again, so I didn't have to take up too much pieces of paper to write a rough draft for something. So it's going to disappear, and then I can write on the same piece of paper again, because again the paper is now blank, which is a cool idea for this pen. And yeah, another one is just a cool gift idea to someone so that they can experiment and play around with it. Or, of course, if you're a spy or something, this is always a cool little pen for you, because then you can write on something and then let it disappear or evaporate within a few hours, which is always cool. As far as the construction of the pen is concerned, it's made entirely out of the soft touch rubber material, which feels pretty good in the hand, but it kind of isn't as high-end as it looks like in the pictures, because the ink of the pen doesn't fit as tightly into the pen barrel as it should. So when you play around with it, it actually has this clicking sound on it, which isn't very appealing. To change the ink of the pen, in case your ink runs out and you happen to have more of this disappearing ink, you just twist out the pen barrel, and that's just the ink inside. Again, this is a blue ink, it's not black, so that's just something to note if you are really curious about that. Again, it's going to be a little bit rattling inside. The cap of the pen is also made entirely out of plastic. This isn't metal, so it's got a little bit of a cheap feeling to it, but it's not too bad. Overall, it looks like a pretty discreet, very ordinary pen. Again, so in terms of looks, it does a pretty nice job of doing it. So now I've posted this review. I've been recording this video for around 3 minutes now, and you can see that the ink has started to fade. It's still pretty readable, but even after say 20 more minutes, the ink will pretty much entirely fade, except for really dark areas where the ink seems to stain a little bit more on the paper. It's going to kind of stay there, which is unfortunate. But in other places where you're writing ordinarily, it's going to actually go away pretty much completely. Now, if you were pressing really hard on the paper, you still have the marks from pressing down with the pen, with the tip of the pen, but again, the ink is going to disappear. So again, I was a little bit surprised on a few accounts. One of them is how fast the ink of the pen disappeared. In the descriptions, it said that it's going to disappear in around 3 to 4 hours. I found that to be kind of a lie, because it kind of immediately started to disappear even around 10 minutes into the testing. And I didn't really like that, because, you know, as a prank, it would only work if you write it on something and then give it to someone. Then they can read it again, and then, you know, a little while later, they wouldn't be able to see it. You aren't able to do this with this, because, you know, if it's only going to disappear in 10 minutes, it's going to be very quick, and they'll notice something is wrong almost immediately. But otherwise, as far as reusing paper is concerned, it's not the best idea out there, again, because some stains will stay there, and it's not going to completely disappear, and so that's going to be an issue if you want to conserve paper. But still, it's a very cool little idea that you can play around with and come up with different ideas to prank people. And again, it's a pretty creative little pen. And for only $3, you can't really go wrong with trying one out. But just be wary. Again, you only get the pen, you don't get the case, like you would often see in the eBay descriptions. So thanks for watching this review here at os and VTXreviews.com. This is the Disappearing Ink Pen.